Anyone who knows me knows that I like using layers in Visio diagrams. I'm going to show you an example of how things should behave and shouldn't behave. I'm just going to open up a sample diagram that's installed by Microsoft Visio desktop application and show you what I think is a little bit of lack of quality control by our friends at Microsoft, I'm afraid. So let's open up this sample diagram. Okay, and let's just switch off the grids, or ruler rather, and zoom in. And here we can see an example home layout. Now, one would expect, if I went to have a look at the layers on here, that this is nicely assigned to various layers. And indeed, if we look at this dialog here, this lovely little dialog, we can see there's a count of shapes and there's visible, printable, etc. It's great to have all of these settings, but you know that one thing you can do here is switch off all the visibility. If I did that now and did apply, I would expect everything to disappear, but it doesn't. And the reason for that is that there is some mislayering, if you like, of some of these shapes. You can notice here that all these beds and this furniture, something's gone wrong here. I'm just going to switch on everything now and do apply on that, and we'll go and look in a bit more detail at, say, for example, this bed, this king bed. Now, one thing I can do, for example, is open, because I've got developer mode on, allows me to open up the Drawing Explorer window. If I look in that Drawing Explorer window at this page and look at the shapes on this page, then I will be able to look at what that king bed shape really is like if we look at the structure of it. So open up the shapes there and we'll go down to king bed. Now here's the king bed. So I can see that it has got that selected, and if I expand that, we can see it contains some shapes, and inside that shapes there is this shape, and inside that there are some more shapes. Now what I can see immediately is that these four shapes that are inside there have not got any layer assignment to them. So even if we're switching off, and we can see it is the top layer is assigned to furniture and movable furnishings, then it's still not going to switch off the graphics, which is bad, really. That whole thing should have been corrected. Now, one way you can do this, by the way, is if I go into looking at my local document, if I switch it on, document stencil here, and if I went to find the master that that is an instance of, I could go and fix it there, and it would be not only for this particular shape but all instances of that shape. So here I'll come down to where they place beds down. Here's the king bed shape there. If I open up that king bed shape in the Master Explorer and look down there, then we've got this layering we can see there, and then we've got these shapes in there which don't have any layers. One thing I can do to fix this is to just select the top layer of the shape, and I'm going to now go to layer, assign to layer. It tells me it's on those layers, but it hasn't been assigned to all of the shapes that are inside there, the sub-shapes. So if I do OK again now, you would have seen a subtle change, that all of these sub-shapes here have now been assigned to the same layers as the top one. So when I was to, if I was to do a close on this, now it says, do I update king bed and all of its instances? Yes, I do. Okay. Now it's very important that having made a change to this master, that I should go to the Edit Master, Master Properties, and click on this Match Master by Name on Drop. Why is that important? That is because if I was to go back and pull in another king bed from the original stencil, because I've made a change locally, it will try and create me a duplicate. Then I've got two masters, and I haven't got the ability of controlling them nicely. So switch on that match master by name on drop, and even if you were to go and pull it from the original master, original stencil, it will find that master by name, and it will only use the one that you modified locally. Okay, so what's the advantage of that? So if I was to go back into my layers now, in my layer properties, you will see that if I was to switch off all the visible and apply, that king bed will disappear. So that leaves me this others, as you can see there, and that is a bit tedious, I would say, to go through and looking at that. Anyway, I thought about that and came up with what I think is a reasonable solution in my LayerManager. So if I go to my LayerManager, we can see it installs itself on the view ribbon. It's got a big button at the top there to open up the layer buttons. So if I have to click on that now, it's going to open up my LayerManager window. And the LayerManager, if I look at the page layers here, let's have a look at that. So I haven't bothered doing the counts, so I'm going to do this, press this button here to just refresh all the counts. So this is actually a bit more detailed than the counts you get in the standard Visio layer properties dialog, because not only does it give you a count of all of the shapes which are on those layers, it gives you the top layer ones as well. That can be extremely important because what we want to do now is to look at, let's say, on my shape layers tab. And if I was to go and click on this shape now, which is that king bed, and I'm just going to filter to selection, we can see it's got layering all the way through, and it's consistent. If I looked at something like this bed over here, this queen bed, we can see that it is not consistent. So these subshapes are not assigned to any layer. So I made that easy now by introducing this new button now, is Fix Master Shape Sublayers. So if I click on that and say yes, I'm going to do the master and all of its instances, it will go through and it will do what we just did manually and fix it all. There were a few other things in there which had a similar sort of problem, like this television. Again, badly made, and again we would need to go in and fix that. And it is putting that match master by name on drop setting in there as well. And so you can go through quite easily, and those ones which didn't disappear, I think these plants as well, these foliage ones had a similar issue, as you can see. It's loads of them inside that which were not, I didn't realise that plants were furniture, movable furnishings, but here goes. And I believe this bed was showing up, and I don't even need to go and look really, but I will. If I just open that up, we can see that that's got badly constructed. So I'm going to go in and fix that in all of its instances. And there are also chairs. For example, this chair, a recliner, you can see that was badly made as well. Fix that. Alright, and I'm sure there were some other things in there. I believe this might have been one. No, I was fine on that. This chair, have a look at that. No, that's fine. Maybe what I'll do is just go and switch off the visibility of everything and see if everything is disappearing again. So I'm just switching to my page layers tab, and I'm just going to switch it off. Oh look, there was stools and that. Now notice I can't click on them at the moment because all the layers are switched off, right? So there's top layers, are assigned. They're now invisible. The bottom layers, which are not, the bottom subshapes are on no layer, but you can't get a hold of them. Makes a bit of a nonsense of it, doesn't it? So I'm going to switch on the visibility of everything and just go and fix those. So now I can pick on that one, and that is that front desk, fix that. Yes, and I believe the remaining poorly constructed masters shape instances are these stools over here. So now I'll go over to the stool, select on that, and you'll notice there were two of these, and this is a good way of proving that it's actually doing them all at once. So I do yes on that, and then I should be able to switch everything off. Great. So now I go to page layers and see if I can switch off everything. Great. So I'm now in a good position to actually start using layer control effectively.